Chapter 4. Phil's Words. Work was overall normal. I just mainly waited in the lobby of the coffee shop for my shift to start. Mostly just playing Candy Crush on my phone while Tommy was talking to the wall, basically. I couldn't really hear anything he was saying. I just really wanted to win the level. It's been bugging me for about a week now.
Why are you even listening, Wilbur?
Tommy blurted out. Yeah? I looked up at him over the rim of my phone.
Then what did I just say?
He scolded me as he crossed his arms and leaned back against the chair. Something about complaining. I smirked as I took a sip of my coffee and continued to play Candy Crush.
No, I asked, what did Dad say to you on your way out?
I raised a brow, taking another sip of the hot coffee, and putting my phone back on the table. None of your business. You should have learned that last year when you were in kindergarten. My expression went back to neutral as I said that.
What?
No, hush now, child. I picked up my phone and continued to play. Let me finish my game. Tommy opened his mouth to speak, but I stopped him again. And don't you argue with that. I need to pass this level.
Fine.
He grunted and sat back against his chair again, looking around the cafe. Soon enough, our shift started and it went from, as usual, from 4:30 to 7:30. We took a stop at the local Chick-fil-A and picked up dinner for both of us and went home. Phil, unsurprisingly, was dressed and ready as soon as I stepped in the door.
Oh, Dad!
Tommy said, hugging Phil, then going to his room with the rest of Chick-fil-A.
Is that me happy?
Phil replied once more, looking over at me.
How did you know that food makes him happy?
He joked once more. Lucky shot. So, you ready?
No, still waiting for you to get dressed.
But Dad, I just got home, I whined.
Go get dressed. I'll wait for you at the rendezvous point.
Fine. Do I get food? Phil chuckled.
You always need food. Can't ever get enough, can you? Sure, I'll let you have more food.
I ran into my room, throwing my bag onto my bed and getting changed back into my conductor outfit. I ran out the back door and darted from the roof till I got to Times Square. The roof I was on, you could hardly make out the outline of Phil on the other rooftop.
Hello, conductor.
He said calmly, a metallic sound playing when he talks, making his voice sound distorted. He stood up tall, his hands behind his back, as a pair of dark gray wings opened. They were held high above him. Evening, Angel of Death, I echoed back, bowing gently at him and looking up the smile under my mask. Well, let's just say, it was from ear to ear. I never really got to hang out with Death much when we were in our villain forms.
You missed it.
He said softly.
How's the night been treating you? Has the cover of darkness assisted you?
I stood up and looked into the eyes of the crow mask, its beak ever so long, but yet short. The eyes were a rich red, in the opening of the bottom of the mask you could see Phil's mouth. I still find it strange that I have to be so gentle with the Angel of Death and be as pushy as I want with Phil, to a point. The clothes he wore were a vest like the one I have on, that is black with green embroidery, with a silk-like shirt underneath that had gold lace at the end of the sleeves. Over top of the sleeves, he was wearing wing-like armor that was placed on his forearms. His hands were almost charred, and that too went up his arms, going over all of his veins till they got to about elbow length. His shoes were all black, with practically equivalent to combat shoes. The pants went into his boots. The green lining shines every time the light hits it. The last thing he had on was a long dark green cape and a bucket hat, which was striped with white and green. The night have been assisting me just fine, sir. The goddess of death has been keeping it very pleasant. The darkness has helped everyone very much. Has she slowed down time for us in the night, or is that just an odd coincidence I feel? Death pulled out a golden pocket watch, and his wings went down beside himself.
Indeed. She has slowed it down just a minute or two. Has that given you enough time?
Very much, sir. I have not asked or wish of her, if not necessary at all. She has done plenty for us all. We'll be able to remake the syndicate soon enough. Have you had any time to find Blade? I had to cut myself off forgetting that we had changed his name since his rebirth. Anastasius. Have you ever had time to find Anastasius yet?
Sadly not, my dear friend. For I have been looking every night and every morn, but could not see any sign of him. I've told the others to be on the lookout when they do go out, but I've seen nothing and gotten nothing from that reply.
My fist tightened hearing this. I had to hold back, snapping at Death as much as I could. That's why you brought me out here tonight?
Indeed, I would think that with you and me together, we could possibly have a sliver of chance at finding Anastasius.
I nodded and crossed my arms. What's the plan, if I may ask?
You may. The time is to search for high ground. I have summoned Silver and Vigilante.
Who is this? The vigilante, I mean, sir.
The Vigilante? Their name is Cobalt.
Cobalt. I've only seen him a few times, but all I know is that he's pretty deadly if you get on his bad side. Thank you, sir. Where do I gather with them?
On the right, outside the city.
Death replied once more. The ring? What the heck's the ring? Is that a code or something? Can I just get, like, something directional-wise? You know, like northwest, southwest, something like that? I put my hand behind my back, not really replying.
You may be at ease.
Death said out of the blue. What the heck is the ring? I blurted out. Right after he replied.
You'll figure it out. You'll know when you see it.
He opened his wings and pushed off the ground, soaring up and drifting down, going above Times Square and disappearing into the darkness of the shadowed alleyways.
You may stand.
He said softly.
How was the night I'm treating you? Has the darkness assessed you?
I stood up. Assess.
Indeed. I'd find that with you and me together, we could possibly have a sliver of chance of finding Anastasius.
What?
I said no! Indeed. I would think that with you and me together, we could possibly have a silver.
So